Greetings, welcome to Life of Art. I'm Czaana Saxena, and today with me I have Mr. Gareth Fernandez, Singaporean singer and songwriter. Do you want to introduce yourself a bit more?
Hi, my name is Gareth Fernandez. I am born and bred and based in Singapore, and I've been doing music, note writing, singing, recording, and releasing original music for about 10 years.
Oh, okay. So, 10 years. So, you started off pretty early then, I guess?
Ah, I would say that it's arguable. I don't know because 2012, yeah. So I think my first original song only came out 2014, but I
Okay.
started the activities in 2012. Started performing around 20, 2011. Yeah.
Okay. So how did you get into music? How did you start off?
Got it. So I would say most of my peers who are in music, they all had the usual path, which is music uh, lessons with piano or violin
Yeah.
and so on and so forth, and then they kind of progress from there. In my case, it's a bit different. Somehow, I wasn't exposed to much music. I didn't listen to much music in my household. Um, my elder siblings were given piano lessons, but I didn't like it. So when it came to my younger sister and I, number 3 and 4, my parents were like, okay, let's do something different. Let's get you for martial arts. So we learned
Oh,
Taekwondo instead.
okay.
So looking back, I'm like, no, you should have given me the piano lessons, but it's fine. So it's only like when I was in secondary school, maybe 15, and then in junior college at about 17. It's only then when I realized that actually I do have this affinity for music. I actually kind of like music. And it all started from a Teachers' Day concert where we're like, oh, okay, let's just do something for Teachers' Day.
Oh,
And one of my friends approached me and said, let's just do something. And we had no idea that we could do anything. I had no idea what good singing was, no clue at all. It was just that random performance. And then from there, I realized, hey, actually, I really like it.
yeah, it was
And,
like
and
a
then, and, yeah.
light bulb moment for you. Yeah,
Complete accident, actually. Yeah.
Teachers' Day performances are always the best. I mean, it's so entertaining all the time, and yeah. So okay, you're not like the kind of people who are like from young. They've been listening to music and their parents are musicians and everything. You like figured it out by yourself.
It
So
was really an accident. Yeah, no, carry on.
it was an accident. Okay.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm listening to your songs, your latest album, and
Mhm.
so do you write all of your songs?
Yes. So I would say some songs are co-written. Like for example, "Put You Through," that was co-written with Theodora, who is the other
Okay.
singer. Um, Basically all the collaborations these are co-written, but everything else either I wrote or I co-wrote. Yes.
So when you figured out you liked singing, is that the same
Mhm.
time that you figured out that you could write songs?
Right. No, that's another journey altogether. So, okay, so 15 to 21, so that was just singing covers, really. So covers, covers, covers. And back then, that was like the dawn of YouTube and
Oh, okay.
Voice Avenue and things. So singing covers was kind of like the main way to make money from music or to make music a career, right? Because uh, the concept of creating original music, there were a lot of barriers to entry at the time. So now, today it's really easy to produce music. There,
Yeah.
I would say that technology has progressed so much that you can make music on a laptop. That didn't exist 10 years ago. Back then, it was still like kind of the transition phase. So mm, the idea of having a studio album would still cost you like $100,000.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So back then it was still like the dawn of that, social media in the form of YouTube. It wasn't even social media back then. It was just a video sharing website. So singing covers is the only way to do that. I just started singing a lot of covers. So covers, 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 and then I started singing at bars, like
Okay.
Walla Walla, like Timber. And then it was only when I went to school with the Samuelos, who were not the Samuelos back then, and then they had meteoric success, and I was just in the periphery of that friend circle. And then they were saying like, especially John Chua, he was saying, hey, maybe you should give this a shot. And seeing them being able to do that and Gentle Bones being able to do that, that really kind of inspired
Oh
me to
yeah.
just give writing a try. Again, accident, terrible writer at the time. Like when I look back on my first songs, the older stuff, it's mortifying because it's so cheesy and
Oh.
like in a technical sense and a lyrical sense, the old stuff is cringy, right?
Is
So
it
it's
released?
really just
Your first few
incremental
songs?
improvements. Sorry.
Are your first few songs released?
Yeah, all the way. Like they are on Spotify and everything. It's just that I don't promote them. It is. I even considered taking them down at one point of time. I realized that no, it's okay. It's part of my journey. It's part of the baby artist I was
Yeah.
8 to 10 years ago. So it's fine, you know. And it's just the idea is to really just build on what's been done before and evolve and become better as I go.
Yeah, so like gradually improve, basically.
Yes, exactly.
So wait, I heard you talking about like how you met a few people who inspired you to start
Mm-hmm.
writing. Most musicians have like big influences that
Mm-hmm.
influence their music and like how they sing and how they write and things like that. Do you have anyone like that?
Yes, definitely. So here, I mean, locally, like I said, just being around the Sam Willows and Gentle Bones and Charlie Lim, and just seeing that Singaporeans can do it, and back then, there was it still is around today, but it was a lot more. The attitude was a lot stronger 10 years ago when they were saying like Singaporean music is not good, Singaporean art is not good. The attitude has changed a lot,
Yeah,
but
Singapore. The
yeah.
local scene has gotten so much better, like in the last
Yeah.
few years.
Yeah, but
Okay.
back then it was like being a musician was unheard of. Okay, and then as for like global influences, I would say Stevie Wonder. I would say Bruno Mars, and back then Bruno Mars was a pop artist. He was not the juggernaut he is today. He only had Just the Way You Are back then.
Okay. I mean, it's a bop though. So.
Yeah, exactly. Then Justin Timberlake, and Pre-Cancellation, and Sam Smith.
Okay. Oh, Sam Smith.
Yeah.
Okay. You gonna collab, right, with Gentle Bones on a song?
Yes, we did a song a couple of years ago.
That's so cool. Who has been your favorite person to collab with so far?
Ooh, I would, it'd be tough to say any one person
Okay.
because like I really enjoyed all the collaborations and but I'll be honest. Okay, so I really enjoyed I have a band called the Mama Shop that I'm working with. So they've become my best friends. Like when I got married, they were my best men.
That's
So I
nice.
would say definitely collaborating with them, and it was not an easy journey. Like because we literally met in our early 20s when we were trying to make the music thing work in a vacuum when music didn't work. So that was challenging. And we went through like really thick and thin, like hundreds of performances, hundreds of rehearsals. So that was really tough. Other notable names would be Mark Lian of BRB. He's produced quite a few of my songs. He's fantastic. Fionn, one of my friends as well, who was an amazing writer. So these are the notable ones. Of course, like Howard, who produced a lot of my songs. Gentle Bones, amazing. Like I didn't even think he would want to collaborate with me. So yeah.
Yeah. And if you could pick anyone to collaborate with, like in the whole world at some point in the future, who would your dream collaboration be?
Oh, Bruno Mars, hands down. Like because he can do everything. Like and even in Hollywood, even in the global music industry, he's like at the pinnacle. No one does what he does, and he can quite literally do everything. Like he can run a business, he can do the songwriting, he can produce, he can play multiple instruments, he sings and he dances, and he does everything he does at the top of his. Like he's the best in class for all, and it's very rare to have someone that can do all those things.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. So I'm just gonna divert back to like songwriting and stuff, right?
No problem.
So, have you ever faced? Okay, do you face like writer's block or like you just can't think of what to write sometimes?
Absolutely, all the time. Like, I would say that as songwriters go, I'm probably one of the lower producers that I don't have as much volume. And the reason for that is I work a full-time job. Music is financially challenging as a career. Like you can do it, but
it's unstable.
It's not stable. And you don't have CPF, things like that. And as when I started, I was a student, so it was fine. But as I reached my mid-20s and I had to work, things changed. So okay, but back to your main question, writer's block. Sometimes I'm just exhausted from the week. I'm just like, oh, I just need a rest. I just need the weekend to recuperate. And so I have nothing to write about. I would say after this first album and this first and last album so far, like it was a long journey to write that, and since then I haven't really written anything that I absolutely love. because
Oh.
like I wanted to make a change. So yeah, so I'm actually in the process of going like so-called back into the cave and trying to come up with a new sound and come up with a new theme, because this album was actually kind of a mishmash. Like there were a few different genres and a few different themes going on. I wanted to do something like completely different for my next release.
Okay, so how do you come
Yeah.
up with, the theme and then the songs and things like that? What's the
Mm,
process
mm,
of coming
mm.
with an
Um,
album?
I it ranges. Like I think for this last album, Lost in You, it only came to fruition at the end of it, like with the title track. So the it really depends. Like you'll see, like a lot of the times, like past relationships, romantic relationships were things that kind of informed how I would
Yeah.
write. And that made a lot of sense at the time. But then I got married, so there are no more past relationships to talk about. So we'll see. I think for the next one, like the concept I have in mind is I'm calling it chapter 3. And it's the idea like, I've been through these two chapters as, a baby artist and then a somewhat more well-known artist with first release, and the chapter 3 is really about, so-called coming into my own. So it will be a new sound, a new theme. I don't really want to talk about breakups anymore. It will be more like, someone who's, and me being in my 30s, me being a married man, me juggling music and a job. It's those kind of things. Like it'll be songs for people in their 30s, but will hopefully relate to the TikTok generation as well. We'll
Yeah.
see.
So it's kind of like changing the vibe of your music in a certain sense,
I would
because
say it's like how when I think that the best way I can see is like how Justin Timberlake is. He was super well known for his first album Justified, and then later when he did his 2020 album, yeah, it was that kind of transition. So I want to make that transition personally as well.
okay. And do you think it will be easy to change the course of your music?
It is never easy, but so definitely no. But music is about self-expression, right? And
Yeah.
and I don't want to make the same kind of stuff over and over because it's bland. It's bland for me and it's bland for anyone listening. So I've done what I've
Yeah.
done. It won't be a drastic change, like I think the Lost New album had a few different genres. There was one EDM song, there were a few R&B songs, a few ballads. So I'm a little bit bored of ballads, truth be told. So I want to, if I do a ballad, it will be spicier. Like there'll be more elements to it rather than just piano and vocals. I want to do something a bit more complex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, if you had to like tell whoever is watching this like one thing that barely anyone knows about being a musician, or like being an
Mm.
artist in Singapore, what would it be? Like people are really surprised if you tell them that. Is there?
Oh, I don't know if there's anything I can say that will surprise you. But I can say about. I mean, there are good things. Like I had some amazing opportunities over the years, and I call myself very lucky. Like I got to be in NDP 2018 it wasn't my own song, but I had my own segment.
Yeah.
I at one point of time I had this huge performance. I was the smallest act there, but there were these huge artists like Riser from the Philippines and Red Fool from LMFAO, and that was like it was a 20,000 strong audience. That was incredible.
Wow.
But there are also the downsides, like super late nights and not knowing where your next paycheck is coming from and struggling, and you kind of struggle and think of you growing up in social media, like having that social media comparison, envy, self-worth struggle, but multiply that because your art is kind of is inextricably intertwined with your popularity. You know what I mean? So if people don't love your art, you can't survive, and that really can take a hit on your self-worth. Yeah, so I would say that like music is beautiful, and in the social media age, everybody wants to be famous, right? Um, uh, so I would say like for anyone who wants to do it, do it while you don't have responsibilities like bills to pay and kids to take care of and a career to do it now, and see where it goes, because like I think for anyone born the late 90s or 2000s, you have a real shot now.
Yeah. Do you think sometimes people make their interpretation of like you only based on your music? Do you think that could add to the like sort of the stress that you may have, like the
I think
pressure?
I've come to terms with it. Like I think when I was in my 20s, I cared a lot and I really fretted about it. But now it's like, I'm who I am. Like and obviously the music is a big part of me. So I'm not very worried. Maybe some people have said that like my humor doesn't come out of my music, and it's true. I think sometimes when I listen to a song, I'm like, oh, actually, kind of shows me as a very serious person. But I don't want to make joke music either, so we'll see.
Yeah.
And I think like there's a way to do it such that you can have both. Like Louis Capaldi, right? His music is pretty serious, very heartfelt, but he's such a fun and really like hilarious personality. So I think there's a way to have both.
Okay. And you're talking about like you've got opportunities to perform like in huge audiences. I mean, I've seen one of your live performances, obviously not like with the 20,000 audience kind of thing, but when you did perform in front of, when you do perform in front of people, how do you get over the nerves? Because wouldn't it be like, wouldn't you feel nervous and stuff? So how do you get over it? And this is for like any artist.
So I am lucky that I am quite extroverted as a personality, and I don't really have severe stage fright. Of course, there were a few times where when I maybe like going to like one of those big performances on TV, there were a few times I was a bit like hard in my chest kind of thing, and I'm like the smallest artist there, and they're like huge artists with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers. Like there was a performance he did, and Big Bang was the headline act. It was a bit scary. But I always fall back on my preparation, and I think I've always had this feeling like, you know what, let's just go heck and just do it. Like, okay, so how I do it personally is just like that innate confidence that I know what I can bring to the table, and I deliver that because I feel like I have a story to tell and I have songs to sing. But from a practical perspective, it will really come down to preparation and experience. So I built on now, like if I were to have a large performance, I'll be fine because I've done it before.
Yeah.
But previously it was just like just being gung ho and just being like, let's just do it.
Okay. Wow. Okay. And do you ever like mess up in front of people?
Oh, absolutely, like all the time. Like I think like that in an age where there's autotune and everybody uses autotune, right? You become kind of reliant on it, and there are videos of artists, your favorite artists online where they're terrible, right? But you can't tell because of autotune. So for me, I would say like I am decent, but there's always room for improvement. Like so there were great performances where I was like, wow, I'm really good. And there's some nights where some gigs after I was like, oh, that wasn't my my best. And as with any human thing, there are ups and downs.
Yeah, I mean you can't be at your top in every single performance,
Yo, absolutely.
So I do theater,
Awesome.
outside school, and so the advice that a lot of people give is that if you ever like mess up a line or forget a line and stuff, I do theater and dance. They're like just act as if it didn't happen because the audience doesn't know. So
exactly.
So yeah, I think that's the rule that I always go by whenever I go on stage. That if I forget something, if I mess up something, I just act as if that was planned. So I just don't,
It's essentially pertinent for musical theatre, I think, because the audience just doesn't know all the lines and they don't know all the nuances. So just go with it, and even if they do realize they made a mistake, they will praise you or appreciate you for just going on with the show.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And so, one of the last few like questions.
Sure.
What advice would you give to yourself when you were, just say when you were in that secondary school and you had, just realized that you could sing? What advice would you give yourself then?
Pick up an instrument. So that's something that I've always struggled with. I play a bit of guitar, but I'm not great.
Yeah.
I would have, if I could turn back time, I would have poured a lot more time and energy into learning music theory, picking up at least the guitar or the piano, if not both. That's about it. And maybe jump onto social media a bit earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think learning an instrument is important if someone wants to say become a musician at some point?
Absolutely. Like I think, especially now with technology, I would say like the youngest generation of musicians coming out now, who are like in their teens now, so they'll be born after 2000. there's temptation to just be really good at the laptop,
Yeah.
and you can get by doing that. The problem is when you can break out as a social media star and be really good as a streaming artist, but to transition into some a live performance musician, people want to watch you live, and that's how you make your revenue, and that's how
Yeah.
you really step up your career. You're going to need to perform live. Right?
Okay.
For me, I was very I have been and always was very dependent on musicians to accompany me. So I'll need my keyboardists, I'll need my guitarists to be with me, and without them, I can't do a gig. Even though I can play guitar, I don't have the proficiency or the confidence to do it solo. And I think that's something that you must have. You absolutely must be able to play your own songs live and do it like at least passably well.
Okay. So you basically, musicians should learn like more than like just one thing. So if
Yep.
say someone's good at singing, then learning an instrument is very helpful as well.
I think it'll make you better at your own craft. As in, it'll make you a better songwriter. It'll make you sing better in terms of pitch. And it's just fun. So yes, I would
Okay.
have.
Yeah.
It's something I'm still working on, but it's something that I absolutely would have done differently if I could turn back time.
Okay. And was there any advice that anyone else has given you that you realize now that, like, because you followed it, it wasn't good advice? Or something that you'd want, like, aspiring artists to, like, look out for, you know?
And I don't think I ever really got bad advice, or at least I don't remember it.
Yeah.
The advice I've gotten from and you have to keep in mind that I didn't really have a lot of mentors. Like we had this weird thing in my generation, so we're in our 30s now. We didn't have a lot of artists to look up to. There was Charlie Lim, who's slightly older, who had just been finding success as well. So he wasn't really quite at the right age. Like a mentor would have been 10 years older, and he wasn't. Cesare was doing really well, and we were not acquainted back then. Now we are, but like again, he's super chill and he's super nice. Maybe Dick Lee would probably be the person who would be a mentor figure to me. I remember he was telling me to be really. He gave great advice. He was saying like work on your craft, be a good storyteller, which he is, and be. I know this kind of goes against body positivity, but he said like you have to try to be close to the ideal. Try to be close to the ideal figure and size, which is I think is good advice, because at the end of the day, the sad truth is that audiences and people in general, right, are biased towards a certain idealistic look of an artist. So if you're going to look different, it could work in your favor nowadays, but it may not as well.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with being healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember one of your interviews, and you had said that like just music doesn't matter. You need to also look charismatic and things like that. So
it does matter. I would say like honestly, being through that, it does matter. Of course, love the body you're in, and but I also say like to make the best of who you can be. Yeah.
Okay, because that also has influence on people,
Absolutely.
On the audience. And so, just to end this off, like at the very end, now you have the opportunity to be mentors to younger artists. So, what advice would you give them?
Learn your craft. And I think this is something I said before. Like even when I was in my mid-20s, after doing it for a couple of years, like, what advice do you give to new artists? Well, I wouldn't call myself successful. I would say that I somewhat established. I've done some things. I'm happy with my achievements, but there's always room for more. So maybe I'm not the best role model, but I will still say that practice your craft. Like if you are a singer, the bare minimum is that you have to be a great singer. And even if you're not blessed with the Whitney Houston or Freddie Mercury vocals or Billie Eilish vocals, work on it. Get lessons, work on it, and make sure that you are objectively good.
Okay, nice. So thank you so much. Are there any questions that you'd like to ask me, or any questions that you'd like me to ask you, or anything else you want to say?
Not really. I think I really appreciate you reaching out, and I think you have a bright future ahead of you.
Thank you.
Please keep at it. Keep that unconquerable spirit, and just be positive and keep going. I think you're doing great.
Thank you. So, and thank you so much for coming. Thank you
No problem.
everyone for watching this, and I hope you've learned something from Mr. Gareth. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.